What's up, guys? We have a big bloody massacre today. We're going to talk about what is going on in the price of crypto. Man, what a bloody massacre, right? Let's take a look at everything. The last week or so I've been saying, the chart's not looking good. It's looking kind of sketchy. It's not looking the greatest. It started to look a little bit better, but then you can see today, I mean, like I said, Saturdays and Sundays are so freaking bloody. And this Sunday was absolutely the bloodiest Sunday, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of things got wiped out. But we're still looking okay. We're still looking okay. I think, well, let's start with XRP. We got to start with XRP. Okay. So, in my opinion, XRP is just coming down to backtest. It's still very bullish. There's nothing really concerning at the moment. I did not want to break below that 290 area, but we did. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it looks to me like we're just backtesting in here. So, regardless of what happens, I'm expecting some kind of retracement. Maybe we go down a little bit lower and then we retrace, but I'm expecting a retracement to about $2.90 to $3 or so. You can see we had like this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then this could be 4, and then we're still going to get 5 later on. But what is that? Well, to me now, it looks to me like, if we zoom in a little bit closer, this is what it looks like to me right here. So it looks like we have a W, an X, 1, 2, 3, Y, another X, and then 1, 2, 3, Z. It looks like a classical WXYXZ. It's a triple correction. And it would make sense as to why we did that because of the back test. Right? So we're right here at this key level of support. I mean, this is very key area. So I don't know about you guys, but I bought the dip on a lot of stuff. Now, again, I've stated publicly I'm bullish longer term, but like I've been saying the last week or so, I'm bearish sort of in the short term. I said the chart needs a lot of work, and breaking down like this aggressive, it's going to need a lot more work. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking here for XRP. Now, if we start breaking this low, then I really don't want to break this low here at 220. So this is our 1, 2, 1, 2. This is our second 1, 2. If we break that 2, then it's pretty much game over. At least for a long time, in my opinion, because then it's going to look more like, okay, well then what the heck was that? This was a fifth wave. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's over. It's done. Done. That was all she wrote. Right? And then what would happen is we would still go to these high crazy prices, but it would just let me get the other XRP chart. Is this it? Right here. We would still get some crazy prices, but this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would need a massive A, B, C. Basically a big flag. Basically flagging out for the next maybe year. I don't know, maybe 6 months. Unfortunately. So if we take a little bit of a trend line here, so that's where we are currently, and we go out to the end of the year, that's 1 year right there. So if I put it maybe right around September, this is worst case scenario. This is if we have to break this and have a big ABC. So we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 ABC. 2, we would come down, maybe back test $1.30, somewhere around there, and then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 3. flag out again, and then for a wave 5. It would look weird, and it does look weird, but you know, it's just, there's no other way to explain it other than if that's not the case, then we would have to come all the way back down to back test in here. But if you ask me, that would just destroy the shape of the W. It just doesn't look right. My opinion is that we're flagging out in here. If it's the bearish signal, right? If it's more of a bullish signal, then what we're doing is we're back testing. So, and if you look at the daily, I could still see 3 waves if you exclude that wick. 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, right there. So it's still corrective, right? I don't know why the market is dumping. I don't know. I have no idea what news event is going on. I don't know. I heard somewhere it might be the tariffs or something, but this is just, in my opinion, some kind of liquidation. Okay. So I did go long on a couple things. I just, don't recommend it. I'm basically trying to catch a falling knife, right? And if it falls too far, I mean, look at these prices. Look at this. I mean, Filecoin's down 15%. I mean, usually it's between 10 and 15% is like max pain, up to 20%. So anytime you get 15%, I mean, that's a decent spot to go long, just to take a shot in the dark. Look at Theta's up down 12%. So you can see, like, for example, Matic. I got in at this price. We're at this price. Theta, I got in at this price. We're at this price. So I'm barely in profit. For example, like if I go up a little bit, Algorand, I'm actually negative right now. But that's kind of the way it has to work. I have to let it burn for a little bit, see how things play out. This one I'm down even more, which is SHIB. And there's another one too, ICP, I'm down on that one. These are just taking shots in the dark to see if I can catch the bottom. Now, I will close these trades if it gets increasingly worse, right? And, I'll just have to bite the bullet. But again, anytime you go down 10, 15, 20%, I mean, the way I look at it is you need a pullback, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how it pulls back. Does it pull back in 3 waves? Does it sort of consolidate at the lows? Does it have like, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC, right? There's different ways we can react to the low. And that will determine if I will hold the trade or if I will cut the trade. But I assume that even if it has to go down a little bit more or even a little bit more, I assume that there has to be some kind of retracement. So I dollar cost average here. Okay, that was my first entry. If we go a little bit lower, maybe instead of cutting it, maybe I might dollar cost average a little bit more. You know what I mean? But if it gets too intense, then you just have to cut it and just deal with it. So, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take under the current circumstance. The reason why is because now we're going to look at Theta. And we were just literally talking about this yesterday, which is what? Which is the possibility that, okay, so we have our impulse, we have 3 waves down, we have 3 waves up, and then we had 1, 2, 3 waves down. But once we were in here for the last 3 or 4 videos, I basically said we could still have another low. The reason why is because this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which would be your wave C. So you have an A, a B, and a C. And the C wave is overlapping kind of like in a diagonal. So, in my opinion, it looks primed for a buy the dip situation. I mean, just look at it. It looks pretty dang good now. It looks actually attractive. And you can say, what do you mean? It looks worse than it did a week ago. No, it actually looks better. The reason why is because now the structure is becoming more clear. Picasso is painting a picture, and the more he paints it, the more finished he becomes, the more it becomes clear at what he is painting, as a stupid example. But man, hopefully you guys didn't get hurt too bad. If you're an investor, this is my message to you. There is nothing to worry about except for time. It's all. The worst possible thing you have to deal with is time. And your portfolio is hurt, but it's constantly changing. Your portfolio is constantly going up, constantly going down. So that in itself is always changing. What is always continuing is the time it takes for it to get to point A to point B. And I'm letting you know right now, this is not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. Like I said, things have a bullish look. Like, for example, when we looked at it a little bit earlier, when we were in here, I said it looked really bearish because it looked like a descending triangle. Then we broke below it. Then we had it looked to me like this could have been a diagonal because it had 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that wick, we got ridiculously rejected by that wick. But I still said, yeah, we could still get a 3-way pullback, but that didn't happen. We had a massive dump, right? So what does that mean? Well, that was also one of the possibilities because of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, right? So it could have, so there was 2 options. Just to recap. Number 1, this was a 3-way pullback and we were to create a base. Basically, I said what we need to do in order for the price to be bullish, what needs to happen is what? We need to go sideways or a 3-way pullback following this diagonal and go up. But neither of those things happened, which resulted in the second idea, which was this was a 5th wave. Just to make things clear, if people may have missed the videos, but that's kind of what I've been saying the last week. So now here's where it gets a little bit exciting, and with great downside fiasco comes really good side risk taking, in my opinion, right? So if you didn't have bloody days like this, you wouldn't have opportunities. These are opportunities, right? But it doesn't mean those opportunities will play out literally tomorrow. It might take 6 months, it might take a year. But I do believe we will get a massive alt season under Trump. And Trump is going to be around for 4 years, so that could take a long time. But I don't think so. I think it'll happen sooner. So here's the cool part. Look at this. We've officially back tested. So number 1, right, we had a big rally, and then we came all the way down, and then we had a big cup in here, right? And before that, we had this big base. This was a big, beautiful base right in here. And then we broke out of that base, right? And then we had a 3-way pullback, and now we're back testing it. That is extremely bullish. If I'm not comfortable with saying, yeah, it's going to hold here and we're going to go up. But I am saying from a technical perspective, from the look of what I see, it looks like a phenomenal buying opportunity. In my opinion, I could be wrong. This is just an opinion. This is not financial advice, so don't take it as advice. But yeah, so you could see resistance, 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 resistance. We break out of that resistance. And the most bullish thing is not coming all the way down and back testing. No. The most bullish thing is coming down in 3 waves, 3-wave pullback, and we back test. The reason why I said I'm more bullish than bearish, even if we did have 5 waves down, is because the first wave, and this is where I need my arrow, the first wave right here, this wave down is only 3 waves. Look at this, 1, 2, 3 waves. Okay, now you could say it's 4, and this is 5, but it's actually this wave here is actually a different wave than this. All right, so you could say, well, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was 5, but this 5th wave was truncated. Usually the first waves are never truncated. So that's what I'm saying. That I'm thinking this wave, this whole thing right in here is all corrections. It's all corrective behavior. Which means what? Which means, what is it correcting? Well, in my opinion, it's still correcting this big pump that we had here. I mean, we started out like at $1 and we went all the way up to, you know, $3 plus. So okay, so now we got that out of the way. So now let's look at this. If we take a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom of this wave all the way to the top, we're currently right at the area where we have to hold. I mean, this is it, you know. If we break below, and we really wanted to hold above the 702, but really these two fib levels are your last areas. If we go to the 886, then it's more likely it's a flat, which, you know, means something like this and a bounce. It could be a running flat, it could be a regular flat, it could be an expanded flat, but basically it'd be more downside later on after we have our retrace. So let's see what happens in here. Let's see if we can hold in here. That's basically, this is do or die. All right, so that's basically it. Now, if we do end up dying, then what would it be? Well, then this would take at least a year to fix itself, which would be what? Well, then this whole thing would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you would have a 3-wave pullback. And now this whole thing here is 5, 1, 2, and now it looks like we're in 3. What we need to see here is a 4 and then a 5. And then I would see a 3-wave pullback that gets rejected from this support level, which is actually resistance. And then I would see wave 5. And then what you would have is 5, 3, 5. And what that would be is a 3-wave pullback, A, B, C. So what this means is you have 3 waves up, and then you would get 3 waves down, and then you would go on your massive, super massive bull run. So those are the options, and that could take a long time. That could take till the end of the year for that to happen. And basically be going down all the way from now to then. I'm just giving you the bearish idea. If we break below this low, or if we even, you know, if this turns into 5 waves, right? So far it's only 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. But if we go down a little bit more, and then it goes up into a 4, and then we come down for a 5, then, you know, it could be a flat. You know, let's see, did it go up 90% or so? I don't think it did, but let's see here. It actually just about did. So it could be a flat. If, you know, for example, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then stop right there, and then there's your 5, 3, 5. It's an ABC, but instead of an ABC like down here, it stops here because it's a flat. It's a running flat if it were to stop there. Okay, so don't panic too much. You know, it's not the end of the world. I know it sucks really bad. I know, I get it, but I've been fair with you guys. I've been telling you the risk. I've been telling you, you know, I'm still bullish, but it's just, I've been saying, like, I should go back and listen to a couple clips and hear exactly kind of the feelings that I've been having in this area. It all started right here. So if you go back and watch the videos from here, you know, from here to here, that's when I really started to get concerned. And I've been saying, man, you know, so just go check out this video here. It was 21 hours ago, and I basically, you know, I didn't put it this way. I didn't know we were going to have an aggressive dump today like this. This was pretty aggressive. But, you know, there's always that chance that you could get these type of days. And they do happen. And when they do happen, for me, it's a take it advantage, right? Because it's very rare. I mean, it's not so rare, but you get these 10, 15, 20% down days. I mean, to me, that is an opportunity. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so basically that's pretty much it. I mean, look at that. We back tested the zone in a three-wave shape. So, here's what I will say. If we can create, this is what the bulls need to do. This is probably the most important part of the video right here. The bulls, what they need to do, well, first, let me look at this real quick. Let me look at the super small time frames. So you could see right here, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually have 5 waves. That's really good. Remember, we were in here, right? Just back in the 20th, the 21st of January, and we had this descending triangle. And I said, I don't like it. It's bearish, especially when we were right here. We broke down, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said that could be a diag. Or it could be a three-wave retrace, and then we get rejected. I was leaning towards the diag more because we had 5 waves. But, but the rest of the market didn't look like that. The rest of the market only had 3 waves, and you're going to see that in a minute. But now, from here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, here's the problem. This might not be wave 4. It could be, for example, 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get 4, and then we get 5. And okay, so if that's the case, then that's the case. But either I'm saying this could be the low, or one more hit to the low, and then we should cool off for a little while. That doesn't mean we can't keep going lower than that after we cool off, but so what's the most important thing for the bulls? You guys, the OGs already know what I'm going to say. We need to develop a base down here. We need to have a base of support, right? And we want it to, the base, instead of cupping down, cupping down, cupping down, what we want is for it to cup up, right? Like that. So, yeah, that is the most bullish thing we could possibly do, is develop a base in here and then start working on your retracement. Because once we develop a base and once we start going up, it's going to be very hard to get through the resistance, all of these different retracement levels. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we hold it. If we don't hold it and we break below and we just keep trending down, then it's going to be a little bit concerning, because then at that point it's like, well, now what? Right? Because, like, for example, this is your low that you really want to hold, because that's your first wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you pull back. That's your strongest foot right there. That's your strongest foot. So if we break below $1.26, then basically this tells me that we're threatening to make this 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we break down for 5, and then it becomes A, B, C. But then if we do that, and we take this low out, it'll be the biggest liquidity grab probably in crypto throughout the market, and then we would take off like a rocket ship. And I really, really, really mean that too, because again, you would literally have, now let's zoom out a little bit more. Man, where's my other theta chart at? So here's the whole theta chart. Still looks good, right? Remember, we still have this point here. So if this is 3 waves and we start curling back up, this is going to make a beautiful cup and handle. Remember that, right? But again, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Or wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Okay, there's your A. And then we would have 1, 2, 3. There's your B, right? And then we would have 1, 2. That's the problem. It would be very bearish 3, 4, 5 for C. But what I'm saying is, if you just disregard that and just look at the base of the waves, which is what? 3 up, right? And then we get 3 down. Then you would look at 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. But then that would be a 3-wave move. It would be A, B, C, and it would be finished. Oh, and then from there, you would most likely go into reaccumulation. So we would have 3 up, 3 down, and then you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Maybe breaking above the all-time high, maybe not. I don't think we can because we're starting way down here. I think we would gas out around 10, 6, 7, 8, $10, and then we would come back down, and then we would go into reaccumulation like XRP. We would go sideways torture for a little while, and then we would break out into an alt season. That is my main idea if we break this low. Okay, and this ends up in a 3-wave move. All right, but we have to reverse hard, and we can't break that low. If we break that low, then it's like, I don't know, we have to rethink it. I mean, it could still be 3 down, but it'll just be an extended wave. We just don't want this to turn into 5. So, man, that was 20, 30 minutes just on one coin alone. But I think that one coin is pretty much the main, you know, it's a representation of all the altcoins. Now, when we look at ADA looks completely cool. So I'm going to check on my trades now. Oh, look at that. Theta is way higher than it was before. Look at that. Okay. Look at Matic. Matic is way, 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 way higher than before. Look at Algo. Remember, Algo was down in the negative, right? Remember that? And then we had SHIB here. That was in the negative too. But I thought I had ADA. I guess I don't. Okay, ICP is now in the positive. Now I'm happy. Look at that. Maybe I got the bottom. I don't know. But that's why we take opportunities here. Everything's in the green, so I'm okay right now. All right. So ADA looking good. Yeah, like I said, man, and that's crazy. It happened within literally 27 minutes. I freaking, just before I came on, like 10 minutes before, I was buying different coins, you know, just because I thought maybe this could be a good bottom here. And it looked like, you know, we had 5 waves. We were oversold. We were 10 plus 15% down. So it met all the requirements for me to, and it's very risky to do that, you know, because it could continue to go down. But I am pretty good at catching the bottoms on certain coins. I've done that with a lot with XRP. I've sold a lot of XRP. My entry for XRP, well, now it's like $1.30 because I've sold it, then rebought it, then sold it, then rebought it, right? But when we were initially taking off, you know, it was in that 50, 60 cent price range. So it was pretty dang good. And then when we got to 90 cents, $1, man, it, you know, made a lot of money. So, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So anyway, ADA. And I still think there's a lot of money to be made for the rest of the market. Because when I look at ADA, it looks really interesting. Okay, well, maybe let's do this. Let's just zoom all the way out and let's look at it from this perspective. Now, to me, I see a big bull run. I see a bear market. I see a base in here, right? And then I see a breakout. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is you have this sort of accumulation cylinder, like, for example, Liverpool. Or did I say Liverpool? Livermore, I think his name, Livermore. Here's his famous chart here. Basically, it's an accumulation cylinder. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. You pull back, and then you explode to the upside. right? So that's kind of what Livermore's speculative accumulation cylinder, or like a widening mouth, is about. Now you could clearly see that with ADA. You could see the accumulation. It's opening up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks really good, but his chart has it coming all the way back down to the bottom and then blasting off. Now that's totally possible, but I just don't think that's kind of likely. I mean, it would take a massive cyber attack, a major financial event. Again, Trump is president now, so they're going to try to do everything they can. I mean, think about it. We just lost 2 planes, right? I mean, what is the statistical probability of that happening? It's the deep state. They remotely took over that Black Hawk and basically silenced their communications, played a playback, and it only took them 15 seconds. And people, oh, it was incompetence. No, they did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. Why did they do it? Because this is a war between evil and good versus evil, right? So now I could be wrong. Maybe they did crash, and it was all a coincidence. But I mean, come on. So we're going to see some financial events take place under Trump. Remember, the tariffs just kicked in. So now maybe in the next 30, 60 days, maybe even the next 2 years, we might see some type of financial event to blame Trump for his tariffs, so that the next presidential candidate, whoever Trump endorses, doesn't get elected. That's what they want. They want the deep state wants to take back control. And the way they do that is make everything look really bad and blame it on him, when in reality it was a cyber attack or something that they did that caused it in the banking system, because the banking system's already screwed up. But anyway, look at freaking ADA. It looks so bullish, guys. Look at this. I mean, remember, I was saying, man, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. And then we get a big fat dump, and now I'm actually bullish. Why am I bullish? Because look at the chart. We got a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have a big wave 3. And here's the best part. I can't wait to say it. We have an A, B, C. We have a beautiful 3-way pullback. Maybe it goes a little bit lower. Maybe it's not finished yet, right? This could go a little bit lower. Maybe we come down a little bit lower down here. Maybe it's even a little bit lower. But whatever, it still gives us a 3-wave shape. So we have a big impulse, a 3-way pullback. What's going to happen next? Maybe a little bit of a base, and then we blast off to outer space. So I'm actually pretty confident right now with some coins, right? ADA is definitely one of them. It looks really good. Looks really good. Now, the problem is a 3-wave pullback can turn into 5. So if this turns into 1, 2, if we come down for 3, right, and then it comes up for 4, and then we get rejected right here, and then we go down for 5, then it's going to be pretty bad. And not in terms of really price, but price too, but more so time, right? Because it would look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we would come up in 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then basically it would be this accumulation cylinder with a big, more complicated 3-wave pullback. So instead of this being 3 waves, it turns into a more complicated 3-wave, more complex 3-wave move. So it'd be 5, 3, 5, right? To the higher degree, right? It's all about what degree is the correction. So yeah, that's pretty much it for ADA. Let's look a little bit closer here. The other issue I have with ADA is, I mean, we talked about this, we talked about the possibility of this happening, which is what, 3 down, right? And then we had 3 up, and then we get 3 back down. But that 3 could have ended there, but then we came up, we got rejected, and then it came back down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks really good. This is all technical, guys. There's nothing more about it other than this is technical. So See, I'm Google. I go to Google, type in news or crypto markets, and I don't really see anything. Trade war or reps. Oh, maybe a trade war, something like that. How Trump's incoming tariffs may threaten crypto market. Yeah, they're trying to blame it on Trump, but that's just a narrative. That's a news driven event. I'll tell you why. Because you get a lot of bad news in C waves, right? So if this is, or a Y, so if this is W, X, and Y, you get a lot of bad news. So if you look at the Y wave itself is an A, B, C. And in the C wave of the Y wave, you get a lot of bad news, or you get a lot of narratives attached to why it's crashing, why it's dumping, why it's doing this, why it's doing that. So as long as we kind of hold in here, we're okay. Now let me look a little closer. Do we have 5 waves on the initial wave down? Let's see here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it here. So what I'm referring to is this wave here. So it looks like we have 1, 2. This could be 3, 4, and 5 there. See, another thing too, what we were talking about yesterday, not on this chart, but another chart, is the bottlenecking. See how you have this, remember Theta had that 3-wave pull, or that diag looking shape? Well, look at ADA. You could see right here, Theta had 5, right? But ADA had only 3, and a lot of the other coins only had 3. So think about it for a second. Just think about it. You come up here, right? But then you don't, instead of getting a 3-wave pullback, you get whatever this was. This was all that volatility during the Fed speaking, I believe. And it just was wishy-washy, you know what I mean? And then we came down here, and then we basically, it looked like it was building a base, but it was actually building some type of a descending triangle. And I talked about that, and I said, it, you know, especially right in here, it looked like volatility slowing down. What happened? We broke down, okay? And then think about this. And why am I saying this? Because we have to learn, right? We have to acknowledge what happened, and we have to go back and say what happened, right? And that way we learn for next time. So what happened is you break down, right? You get a 3-wave pullback, and then you get rejected right in the same spot as you broke down approximately. And then what happens? Lights out. And that's exactly what happened, right? So now there was a chance that this could have been 1, 2, 3, and then we pulled back for 4, and then we come up and hit 5. But that was within, what, maybe it took an hour? Maybe you're sleeping at the time. I mean, the markets move so fast, there's just no time to react, right? So we could see a little bit of a bottom here. We saw pretty much max pain. You see how we're trending, and then bam, we have a big dump. A lot of times when that happens, you get a little bit of a pullback. And then maybe another hit to the low. It really depends, right? I mean, we can look at Bitcoin, for example. Let me show you a really good example for Bitcoin. By the way, we haven't even looked at Bitcoin yet, so let's just look at it. If I can find it. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay, so Bitcoin. Whoa, look at Bitcoin. It looks great. Look at this. We got 3 there. We got 3 there. And then it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we need one more wave down. Maybe one more wave down. But it looks like we have a 3-wave shape. So we have an impulse, and now we're flagging out. This is exactly what we talked about as well. Something to that effect. So, yeah, it looks good. But what I was going to say is the bottlenecking example that I've shared many times, but you can see it right here. Right here. You could see right there how we had this bottlenecking. We dropped down, But then what happened was, you know, like if we translate it to what happened today, I bought the dip, right? And then let's say it comes up, comes back, and then it's only 3 waves, and then we get rejected again. Well, that's going to be the time to trigger that stop loss, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it for there. So, on my other exchange, I use 3 different exchanges. On the other exchange, I use MEXC. I got a couple, I had a couple shorts on that position to hedge. Because I'm in a pretty big XRP position. So on some of the charts, I need to hedge just in case as an insurance policy. And basically, I cut that short as well. So now I'm kind of just on the sidelines waiting. But anyway, that's your bottlenecking. There's also another bottleneck right over here. You can see how we drop down, boom, 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 down, right? And there's actually one more right over here. And these are good examples to look at. You say, oh, who cares? But no, these are really good examples to look at, because it train the reason I show you this is because I'm trying to train your eyes to notice things like this, so that when it happens again, you'll be equipped, you'll be ready, right? So you can see right here how we came up, hit the low, we took the high, which you never want to do, because when you take the high and then you come back down, it looks like a liquidity grab. Same thing when you're down here, you take the low and then you come back up. That was a liquidity grab. But anyway, you came down and then you were bottlenecking, boom, 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 boom. That's never a good sign, because it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then bam, lights out, and then you drop. But if you notice what happened on this drop here, we actually had a bounce, we came up, and then we had a double bottom in here, and then that was it. That was the low. That was the absolute low right there. That was the absolute low for the price of Bitcoin for this whole entire, for the last year, for longer than a year, right? So what if that is what's going on now, right? Let me see, Ethereum Classic. Yeah, same. I'm just picking a random coin, guys. So just look at this. Wow, what a bounce. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Same thing. Same kind of thing here. You come up, you hit the high, or you hit the low, and then you come up. But notice we didn't take the high. That's also good. If this would have came up and took the high, that would have been bad. But it's okay. So then we came down, and then look what happened. Bottlenecking, and then what happens after that? Boom, lights out. And then what happens after that? Potentially a bottom. So maybe I did catch the bottom. I'm not going to hold my breath, right? You know what I mean? So let's see how that plays out. So the best thing we can do is kind of go sideways. I do expect it to come back to the low. This is not sustainable. This is going to go up. This is going to come right back down. It's not sustainable, guys. So unfortunately, I might have to take some profits already. Now it still looks pretty good right here. You know, maybe you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a little bit of, you don't have any bearish divergence yet. It's better if I make longer videos and show you exactly. That way, the more I speak, the more information you get, the better it is. The reason why is because when we have days like this, it's so important to reflect. That way you understand how you're feeling, your psychology, you understand the wave structure, you understand what happened, you understand how it got there, and then the next time it happens, you can sort of be more prepared, right? Now, did I know for sure that this big dump was going to happen today? Hell no. It actually surprised me in a way. But then when I go back and look at the chart, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't really surprised though, because again, things were looking bearish. Look at SHIB. I'll give you a really good example. Back here in SHIB days, right? I said this looks okay, but it looks like a descending triangle. We broke down, we had a 3-wave pullback, we got rejected, and then bam, lights out. So this could be capitulation. Capitulation is the move that happens at the end of the move, right? So if I go to the 12-hour time frame and let's put some volume on here, and let's look at the volume, because sometimes the volume will give us indications of a volume spike, right? It'll kind of give you a little bit of a news. Now you get a little bit of a volume spike, but nothing too big. You can see here how we came down, we had a volume spike, but then it stopped the price for a little bit. All right, let's look at another chart. Let's look at XRP here. XRP, whoa, guys, XRP is up at 270 again. I bought the dip at what was it, 250 or something. So I wish I would have got this video out sooner. Hopefully you guys, by the time you watch this video, it's probably not worth buying the dip until you get a pullback. So you know, we'll hopefully you bought the dip when I did. But yeah, man, let's look at this. We got W, X, Y, X, and Z. This is a classical bull flag, right? And notice how, guys, notice how we have a trend line right here. So if you see this trend line right here, you connect this one and this one here, and it basically hit it perfectly. That's another reason I bought the dip pretty aggressively, is because of that reason alone. And then not only that, but if you take this Fibonacci line right here, and I go from the bottom, this bottom here, all the way up, you can see, guys, look at this. We perfectly nailed the 618. I forgot to tell you that, right? I didn't even know that, honestly. I was just taking a guess on, you know, but, you know, because when you have a big dump and you don't have much time to react, you have to either buy the dip, because a lot of people, what they do is they have a lot of market orders set. Sometimes I do that, but a lot of times I don't. So I had to go in and manually buy SHIB, manually buy Link, manually buy XRP. And I have to wait to get my order filled, then go to the next coin, then the next coin. And doing that takes a lot of speed. And sometimes you don't have enough time to react. So I think this was a big scare, because sentiment, like Blockchain Backer said, the sentiment's in the gutter right now. It looks pretty bad. And then also, I think this is the violent backtest in that fractal that he shared. So remember the fractal, let's see if I could find it. Oh, look at that. I found it really fast. So here's the video, or here's the fractal. I think this is the fractal. Oh my God, yeah, it is. Look at this. Okay, so let me zoom in here. So look at this, guys. This is really interesting. So notice how it came up, boom, boom, boom. And then we had this big violent back test right here. But then look what happened after that. We went to outer space. This is insane, guys. Let's listen for a second.
They do as things get crazy. So I'm pretty excited about, you know, the weeks to a couple of months ahead of us, but it seems like we're probably going to run speculation city up in this place. So buckle in, no sleep season on.
Anyways, I mean, Blockchain Backer's probably my favorite YouTube analyst because of his fractals. He finds some of the best fractals out there, and hats off to the guy, because he's helped me a lot in certain situations. But when it comes to my doubt, like, hey, I don't know, I don't like this structure because it looks like this, I'll watch one of his videos and then he'll show me a fractal of that same setup, and I'll be like, wait a minute, how did that play out? And then I started feeling a little bit better about my position, you know, because it's all about doubt, second guessing, and things like that. But yeah, that was the fractal, right? Let me see.
Right? Who's going to be the ones who benefit during all of this? I think we're set narratives to end up happening.
So there it is. Let me take a screenshot of that. Okay. All right. So we got that. I'm trying to hurry up for time purposes. All right. Let's see if we get to some other charts. Well, let me go back to Bitcoin and let me just finish with Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin, yeah. See, I mean, it could be WXYXZ as well. You know, it could be that, or it could be 3, 3. But look how big this 3 is, and look how small that 3 is, right? And there's always a chance that this could be a flat. So 3 down, and then you get 3 up, and then you get 3 down later, and this 3 is a flat. So we have to be consciously aware of that. What about Monero? What about my old buddy, my old pal Monero? How did he hold up in all of this carnage? If I can find him real quick. Where'd you go, Monero? Did I just pass it? Yeah, there we go. Not bad, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I mean, that's not bad at all, actually. Let's go to the daily candle. Okay, and I'm going to take a measurement, and I'm going to measure this daily candle, and I'm just going to see. So it was about a 6%. That's way better than 10, 15, 20% on some of these coins. So Monero's still holding very, very, very strong. People are not giving up their Monero. This is very good. This tells me that, you know, look at that. We actually back tested it again. Whoops, I didn't want that one. Wait a minute. Get out of there. So we actually back tested that. So the most important part is right here, right here. We broke through it, but then we got rejected, so we don't count that. And then we came up, we got rejected here, here, and then we broke out of it, finally broke out with a vengeance, taking this side, then coming all the way back down. Now we're officially holding it. This is absolutely what we want to see. So I'm actually more bullish now that we've had all of this carnage. Now, it's the opposite for most people. Most people, we have this bearish carnage. Oh, I'm totally bearish now. Well, wait a minute. No. The time to get bearish was before the bearish move happened, right? So that's kind of what we've been talking about it. Now, did I know for sure it was going to happen? No. I'm not here claiming that I knew exactly we were going to have a bearish look, but I did say that the price does not look right to me. It doesn't look finished. It doesn't look, you know, it doesn't give me the warm and fuzzy feeling, right? Now, when I looked at Litecoin, it kind of did give me that warm and fuzzy feeling, but now that I look at it, it's not as nice looking, because the way I was looking at Litecoin is you had 3 down, right? You had 3 up, and then you had 3 back down. But obviously this 3 is so much smaller than this 3, so it was probably in a different degree, which means this could be a flat in here. This could be our 3. So we have 3 down, 3 up, and now this ugly looking 3. I don't like that 3 wave shape because it's at risk for being a lot bigger. So hopefully not. But we'll circle back. So let's look at Link here. You know, Link, you're kind of in this falling wedge here, right? You broke out pretty nicely. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, and then you had an A, B, C. Looks really good. A, B, C looks really nice. So, and then you could see right here, this little area here, you stretch it along, and that's exactly where we back tested. So I'm happy. I'm a happy camper right now, honestly. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to just zip out of here tomorrow. This means that we're probably going to have to spend a little bit of time in here. Now, it's February. Everyone thought, oh, it's going to be February. That's what I see? You know what I mean? February comes around, everyone's like bullish. Even me, I said, yeah, February is always bullish, so we should get some bullish action. But if I'm anticipating that and everybody else is anticipating that based on the historical data, then what does that mean? That means everybody goes long, then everybody gets squeezed. And that's exactly what happened. We got squeezed. And then you attach a narrative to it. But if the narrative wasn't, you know, didn't exist, and it was just full-on capitulation, it might be a little bit concerning, but I'm always skeptical when they attach a narrative to it. And I think that narrative might be the tariffs. They're like, see, crypto boys, this is, crypto community, you voted for Trump, so we're going to punish you by crashing the price. You know what I mean? But then we also have to understand, too, there's going to be ammunition, which is what? You have regulation, right? You have the XRP ETF, right? You have maybe an IPO for Ripple. That might come a lot later, though. But this is going to be the big one, is the regulation. And then you also have the executive orders for relation to crypto, right? So all of that stuff is getting baked into the cake. And I think people are taking advantage of these prices. Now, just because you take advantage of the price doesn't mean it has to be the exact bottom. I'm not saying that at all. We could have one more low. We could have another low. As long as we're still in the same vicinity, it's not getting too crazy, then, we're still good, right? Maybe I might have to cut my trade if we break that low. Maybe I don't have to, and then I caught the bottom, and if we can ride that sucker all the way into an all season, then I would have made a very good decision. But anyway, let's look at XLM. So XLM, yeah, I just don't like it a lot. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I guess if it's a flat, it would work. So you have 1, 2, 3 down, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and then you have 1, 2, 3 up, or this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up with a 3-wave pullback. But I don't like this. I don't know what that is. It doesn't look right to me. I mean, I guess you would say that's 5 waves. Okay, so we'll do it that way then. So the way I would interpret this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullishly. There's your A. And then we have 1, 2, 3. There's your B. And this here, A, B, C. That's a flat. That's a flat pattern right there for a C wave. And if you look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 waves in wave C. Now here's the big one. Do we have bullish divergence? Let's see. Let's see. Yes, we do. The price is right. Come on down. Bob Barker, look at that. We got it. Look at that. Bullish divergence. So that's good. That lets us know that potentially we should be almost maybe finished soon. By the way, look at all those red candles. That's a lot of red candles. And statistically speaking, that's, we should get a green candle coming in. So that's another reason why you should be a little bit bullish. So hopefully, guys, you maybe buy a little bit of the dip. Not financial advice, but for me, I think that was a good decision, or it's turning out to be. Let's take a look at it. So my link trade is up way more significantly. Filecoin is up pretty nicely. Solana is up. ADA, I basically was late to the party with ADA. Litecoin is up pretty nicely. Theta, Matic, Algo, ICP, and SHIB. So I'm all green, which is good, but I have to be very, 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 very careful because we could start to come down. You know what I mean? So if we break the low, then I would have lost all of this money. Basically all the profits, unrealized. So hopefully this low holds, right? If this low holds, then I will get to keep my position. But if it breaks down, then I won't be able to. But even if it doesn't, I would still probably take some profits up here, wait for a little bit of a pullback, because there's no way this just shoots up and out of there. I mean, it could. It very, very, very well could. And if anyone would do it, it would be XRP, right? So, all right, let's keep looking here. We're at the hour mark, so I know you guys aren't feeling as happy today as as you would like to, but if you can hit that like button, I would really appreciate it, just so that other people can hear what I have to say, get the algorithms working. Now, I think we did look at ICP. ICP looks actually really interesting to me because you have 3 here, you have 3 up, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. You have a ABC. It's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, you don't have any divergence, though. That's the problem. That's the only problem I don't like. That could be an issue. I really want to see some divergence. If we take this low out, I'm not happy anymore. I'm sad. So, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominant, yep, it should be popping. There we go. So Bitcoin dominance, it still looks really good, right? You have a big dump, and then you have a big wave 1, and then you have a 3-wave pullback. That could be your wave 2. Let's wait for wave 3, right? And if I flip it upside down, it might look a little better. So here's your impulse. Here's your wave 1. You get a 3-wave pullback. Now let's go up, which is really down. That's what we want. We want Bitcoin dominance to go down. Theta fuel. Theta fuel, yeah. I mean, it wasn't too bad. You know, we're still holding the low. It still looks okay. And then now I have a 3. Okay, now I see it. Now I have the 3-wave shape, right? 3 there, right? So you have 3 up. This is really, really good, guys. We have 3 up. We have 3 back down. Support, support, support. Let's freaking go. We got to build a base first. It might take a month. It might take 2 months. It might take 3 months. I don't know. But if you look at, for example, Theta, right? It's the same type of fractal, right? You have 3 up. You have 3 down. Remember this. Take a mental screenshot of this. 3 up, 3 down, right here. Support, 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 go. Okay, remember that. Now, Theta fuel, same thing, but on a bigger scale here, right? We could say 3 up, 3 down, support, 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 go. Same thing, except it's much bigger. So we'll see. Now, on the zoomed out look, it doesn't look as good, unfortunately, because to me, you know, we have 3 here, right? And this would be 3. But this looks like it needs to come down lower, right? 3 up, 3 down, actually come back over here and meet the low. So there is, I'm not completely convinced that the low is in for Theta fuel. But if we start going sideways in here and we start developing a base and we start attempting to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves and a 3-wave pullback, then I'm going to be more confident in that. But Theta looks really good because of the 3-wave pullback, and then you also have this big base. Now you guys understand the importance of a base. This base was so important because not for the time that we were in it, but now that we fast forward today. So basically, last July, September, October, November, we were laying the groundwork for what was to come today in February. Because if we didn't put in all of this work, all of this time, blood, sweat, tears, all in here, then when we came back down, we probably would have kept crashing. So all of this was structure. It was a steel beam support, right? A support beam, and now we're holding it here, right? Now it's not a guarantee. We could keep going lower, but for the time being, we're holding it. Let's look at AVAX. Yeah, see, one of the most bearish charts I was looking at was AVAX. I said, guys, AVAX looks terrible. Which one's telling the story? Is it this one or this one? Well, it turns out this one was telling the story. You can kind of see a little bit of a falling wedge, and we actually broke it to the downside. But I think AVAX could be almost complete here. Let's see. Yeah, it looks exactly like Theta when you zoom out, right? You got this big impulse. You got this pullback. You developed your base. You broke out of the base, and then you have a 3-way pullback that's back testing the top of the base in here. So now we want to create a little tiny base on top of this base and then continue higher. Man, I say base a lot, don't I? All right, Axelar. Whoa, XLR. That doesn't look finished. I mean, it looks like it's gonna die. I don't know about this one, guys. This one looks pretty bad. It looks like we're bottlenecking and we're dumping here. I don't know, man. I don't know about this one. We'll come back to that one. Ave. This one's an important one. Okay. So Ave, actually there's nothing wrong with Ave at all. We're flagging out. Perfect. When we zoom out on Ave, it looks a little bad, but it looks okay. It looks like we're kind of flagging out. Now if we zoom in here, let's see if we could find it. Okay, so we have a 3-wave pullback, and then we have this could be, man, it's a tough one. 1 2 3 4 5 1, and then ABC 2. Right? So here's your 3-wave pullback, a wave 1 and an ABC 2, develop a base, go. That's one way to look at it. Another way is we get 3 down, we get 3 up, and then we get 3 back down. 3 3 3. And maybe it's not finished. Maybe it's 1 2 3 4 5. Maybe we have one more wave, and then we continue higher. So we'll have to wait on and see how that plays out. Near, I mean, man, this one's really down on the dumps here. I'm so glad I sold my near. But we're right on support. So this could be a good buying opportunity for the time being. And then you also have like that, remember that liver whatever accumulation cylinder here. So it actually looks pretty decent here. You have this broadening wedge. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, or yeah, 1 2 3 4 5, and then you have A, B, C. It looks good. And then you would want to explode to the upside, but this thing really needs to hold here. So let's see if we can hold it. That's the bullish side. The bearish side is this might not be finished because it might be 1 2 3 4 5, 3 up, and then we would get 1 2 3 4 5 down, which is probably more likely because we have 5 waves. That's the unfortunate part about it, right? So 1 2 3 4 5. A, B, C. 1 2 3 4 5. A, B, C. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. But in the short term, I do expect a bounce. I do expect consolidation. I do expect maybe a little retracement. So we'll see. So next week is going to be critical. And by the way, we didn't even talk about that. Today's the weekly close. Oh my God. So our weekly candle is destroyed. No. But now next week it's going to be critical. Right, so we'll see about that. Let's look at H bar, and then we'll look at maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we'll look at the weekly candles on our 3. Okay, so H bar looks. We got. See, I just don't know if that's 5 or 3. 1 2 3 4 5, A, and then you get 1 2 3. That's B. And then you see, I don't like this. See how it bottlenecks? Boom, 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 boom. You drop down, and then if we go up in 3, then I'm gonna expect one more wave down to be C. 1 2 3 4 5. A, B, C. There's your 3-wave pullback. So you got your impulse and your 3-wave pullback. Develop a little bit of a base and then continue higher. So that's gonna be the big deal, right? Can we? The big question I have is, are we going to get that, or are we going to get that? Which one's it going to be? I don't know. Let's look at the weekly candle. So the weekly candle, obviously it's a bearish engulfing candle. It looks pretty bad. So it could get a lot worse. And all of these charts are going to look bad. CRV was probably one of the nastiest ones. I think it went down. 16%. It was probably more. It was more like 20% earlier. So yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles, you know. You get these big explosive moves. I mean, look at this, guys. We had a big wave one. We had a big nice three-way pullback. We had a very massive explosion move, right? So we have a 1, we flag out for a 2. We have a big wave 3. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is a wave 4, guys. So we just have to wait till this wave 4 finishes and then go up and get wave 5. Now, what if it's not a 5-wave move? What if it's only 3? What if it's just a 3-way pullback and then a continuation? That could be also something we have to understand, but I don't think so, because this is 1, 2, 3 waves. This is not 5, right? So we have 3, 3, and then 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now, if this turns up into 3, and then we get one more 3, then it's going to look like a diag. It would be a 3-way pullback and then a continuation. So far, it looks actually okay. You know, you have a big impulse and you have a 3-way pullback. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Now, as far as the smaller time frames go, and the reason I'm showing a lot of charts is because I want you to just get a bigger picture of what we're looking at here. Now, I do like this, how we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is really good. So we have 3, and then we have 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a completed ABC in my opinion. Okay, this could be done, just about. And we're still dumping though. Let's look a little bit closer. Oh yeah, that's pretty max paid. Look at that volume. That's a pretty big volume spike in there. And volume spikes tell you the end of the move, right? So if you have a big volume spike, it's probably close to the end. So you see this volume spike happen right here, right around there, and it was actually the end of this move up, and then we were coming down. I wouldn't pay attention if they're red or green. It doesn't matter if they're red or green. It just, you know, it's more about the price itself. So this is a very big extension. 1, 2. It's very hard to count these waves. 3, 4, maybe 5, or 1, 2. All of this is 3, and then 4, and then 5. Very tough. Very tough. The best way this could happen is if we just hold a base in here. See, what I really like to see as well is big wicks. I want to see big, fat, giant wicks. See, if you go to the 8-hour chart, you got a little wick here. Or if we go up to like the daily chart, we want to see this wick be very big. So we want to get bought up nicely, right? And then the second candle will open, and then it'll probably retrace 50% of that wick, and then it'll hopefully continue creating some type of base or something. So okay, so remember QNT, we were looking at it from a Wyckoff accumulation perspective. Let's see if that's completely invalidated. I don't think so. I don't think so, because now I see 3 down, and then I see 3 up. This is a flat, and then I see another 3 down. Okay, so that to me, you know, and then we broke this liquidity here. This could be a Wyckoff accumulation, guys, and this is the all-time low for the spring in here. Or this could be a very nasty head and shoulders pattern, and we're about to break down very aggressively. So it's going to be one of those two, and then we're really not going to know until we have a little bit of, you know, the way we're going to know is how this pulled back, because it's not going to just keep going down, 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 down. I mean, it totally could, but more than likely it's going to stop. It's going to pull back, and based on that pullback will tell us, hopefully will tell us, if we have more downside, or if we sort of do these cups in here, if we build a base. I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could shape up to be. So let's take a look as close as we can. So on the 5-minute chart, I really like how we had this divergence in here, and then we shot up pretty nicely. Problem is, it could be a flat A, B, C. There's your 3-wave move, and then we got to continue down. Or this could be a 5-wave move, and then we get an A, B, C, and then continue up. But hopefully it's neither of those, and we just oscillate in here and then go up later. So, all right, Ethereum, this is a big one. Let me see what happened with Ethereum. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. You got 3, and you got 3, and then you got 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, I mean it's there. You got WXY. It looks okay. Let's see what happens. Problem is, we didn't come down and backtest this level, so we still have a lot of space down in here. For the price to potentially hit the low and just drown everybody out, because everybody's like, oh, you know, it's crashing, let's just buy the dip. But then we get a little bit of a pump, and then we have another crash, and then people say, okay, now I can't take it anymore, I'm out, right? Boom, something like that, and then develop a base and then go. So I'm not is the low in? I'm not convinced that it's in yet, but there's a chance it could be for some coins. So we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, I mean, I put my money where my mouth is. The reason I don't really share my trades a lot, like some people share their trades every single video. Once in a while, I will. And the reason I did it today is to show you that I don't have the fear that, you know, I'm trying to ease a little bit of people's fears right now. So on these bloody days, it could be pretty bad, you know. But the weekly candle looks okay. I mean, it has that finished 3-wave shape to it, so not too bad. ICP, I'm really hoping this is going to be some kind of W pattern in here for ICP. I'm sure Bohm just got totally obliterated. I mean, this one's just completely dead for me. Theta, Litecoin, we looked at it. So Litecoin, yeah, it's still, look, guys, Litecoin barely, you know, it's a little bit of a move, but nothing too drastic. We're still kind of just, you know, when I look at Litecoin, we're, you know, this is a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We go sideways. Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. We got 3 waves down, and then we explode up, and now we're sort of consolidating, and then we want to continue higher. When's that going to happen? I don't know. It's a tough one. XDC, I'm just kind of looking at some charts here. Fetch, yeah, you're definitely getting that 3-wave shape, but I'm not convinced it's finished. It looks like it would look better if it came down further. Jupiter, okay, so this is an interesting one because it's so tight in here. You know, when you look at Jupiter, it's really tight. I mean, basically the whole entire chart is one giant range, which makes it kind of interesting. Yeah, see, we go way up, way back down, way up, way back down, way up, way back. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, we'll just have to come back. Let's look at total 3 here, because this is basically the most important chart out of all of crypto. You have a lot of volume up here. So it looks okay. You got 3 here, and I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a diag right in here. And then you have a big 3-wave pullback without breaking the low. So here's your 1. 1 starts here to here. This is wave 1 right there. And then you have A, B, C right here. But I just don't like the shape of it. You know what I mean? I would much rather say 3. And then this whole thing is 3. And then this whole thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 down, 3 up, 5 down. A, B, C. Because you could see we're right on support here for the market. So this is critical. This is a critical area. Are we going to hold it, or are we going to break and just crush below it? I think we have a good chance of holding it for at least for a day or so, at least for maybe even a couple days. And then let's see what the structure of it looks like, and then we'll go from there. So, all right, let's finish. Let's wrap it up. Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's look at the weekly chart, and we'll call it a day. We'll look at XRP weekly chart. Yeah, it looks fine. I mean, there's nothing to be concerned about completely yet, right? You got a little bit of a three-wave move here. You're consolidating at the top. I mean, you're basically just ranging for the weekly. Nothing important. Look at Monero versus Bitcoin. Monero versus Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Oh my goodness. So Monero versus Bitcoin on the weekly chart. The weekly candle ends in 3 hours. And look at the weekly candle. It's about to have the highest weekly close since probably September of last year, which isn't really a big deal. But yeah, you got this little bit of a base in here. And now you're breaking out. I told you guys. I told you about Monero. I mean, I just had a really good feeling about it. Now, it's not completely done yet. You know, it could be a little bit of a problem. The weekly candle on Monero, I was really hoping. Oh, look at that. We're still above it. Look at this, guys. Despite all the carnage, Monero is still going to close potentially above its weekly swing high, which is really impressive. Very impressive. So if I had $100 to spend and I could buy any coin I wanted on an exchange, I would probably buy Monero or XRP. Just FYI, not financial advice. But again, Monero has a beautiful structure. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. It went sideways for so long. It broke out and it back tested, and now it's starting to come back up. It looks crazy bullish. Okay, let's look at XRP. We'll look at the XRP weekly chart. Let's take a look at it. I mean, yeah, you know, it is what it is. You know, came back up. I mean, this could be a 1-2. I'm hoping that's what it is. You know, a violent back test like the fractal we saw on Blockchain Backers video. You know, he will never do a video on a weekend, despite all the carnage. So I'm filling in for him today. No, there's no way I could fill his shoes. There's just no way. But I don't see anything wrong with the chart, unless we start breaking below this low. If we start breaking below these lows from here to here, then I'll be very concerned. Very concerned. I would probably just cut all the trades and just wait. Unfortunately, that's just what I would have to do. So, but I will admit that this wave has been pretty life-changing for me. I don't like to talk about it, but I did kind of accidentally show my trade in the video, and I didn't really want to. But if you saw it, you saw it, you know. But it's not realized yet, you know. I did take a lot of profits. There's a lot of, you know, I want to pay off my wife's student debt. That's kind of a lot of money. I want to pay off a couple other things. As you guys know, I bought a dirt bike. I want to pay that off. So it's, you know, there's a lot of bills I got to pay, and it's not like, you know, but anyways, small time frames really fast. Yeah, we're pulling back. So we had a big spike up, and now we're pulling back. See, here's a good example. We want to get away from the scene of the crime. See how we had a big dump, and this pump was just a reaction from that dump. So what we want to see is we want to come back down here, and then we want to kind of come back up and then maybe hit the low again, play around a little bit and then start to go up. That would be very, very good. That's kind of what we want to see, right? Something like that. If the price just shoots out of here, it's very rare that that happens. And I don't know where he pulled that fractal, because I would love to take a better look at it. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you guys aren't too devastated by what just happened. Remember, we're all in this together, right? And remember, there's so much to look forward to as far as crypto. Again, we have regulations coming, institutional money. And you go, yeah, I've been hearing that for years and it's never happened. Well, now we finally have a president to get it to happen. And, the market itself is not overvalued, in my opinion. A lot of these altcoins are down in their dumps. I mean, again, if you look at, like, for example, Theta, it's back at its September high, right? I mean, really, Theta is the same price it was back in July of 2022, right? So, you know what I mean? So if you look at this as all one giant base, you can say, yeah, we've been going sideways for a while in here. So, and we're still holding strong. Maybe not in this moment in time, but honestly, I mean, looking at this three-wave shape, it actually looks good, and we're back testing in here. It actually looks pretty decent for a bounce. So that's what I want to see. Crypto Brandon, want to see a nice bounce, and based off of that bounce, I want to see if we can hold. I want to see if we can hold it, because you can see we got a bounce, and look at that, we came right back down to the low. So that's okay. So I want to see back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I want to see a base get built in there, right? Now, that doesn't mean the low is completely in. We might have to hit one more time and then build a base, and then maybe hit one more time, and then, you know what I mean? So there might be a little bit of divergence in here that happens before. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.